Hello staff, hello students, welcome to Chef Mel's kitchen again. So I'm going to be making a really lovely summery dish today because the weather has been really nice during a lot of this lockdown, hasn't it? Which is a bit annoying, isn't it? Because we're all sort of stuck indoors, aren't we? But I know a lot of people are having barbecues at the moment, aren't they? So obviously following government lockdown advice, you know, just barbecues in your own garden with your family. But I'm going to do something that I don't actually have a barbecue, so I'm going to be showing you with a griddle pan and the oven today, but this is barbecue suitable. So I'm going to be making a Chipotle chicken with Succotash. Now, you probably haven't heard of any of that. Chipotle is smoked chili. So a bit like how you get smoked paprika is from a pepper, which has been dried and turned into a powder and smoked. Chipotle is chilies that have been dried and smoked and then turned into a powder or a paste. So we're going to marinate chicken in that and we're going to barbecue that or grill it. And then that's going to be served with something called Succotash, which if any of you watch Looney Tunes, I don't know, do they still make Looney Tunes? There was Sylvester, the cat that used to go after Sweetie Pie, and he used to say suffering Succotash, didn't he? I think that was him. Succotash is an American dish, it's a salad, mostly comprised of lima beans and sweet corn, a lima bean and sweet corn salad. Lima beans are what the Americans call broad beans, and so that's what we're going to be using today. I'm going to go through the ingredients and the method. Two are fresh, but the rest are long shelf life, either the cupboard or the fridge. So the two fresh ingredients we're working with today are chicken thighs. These are skin on, bone in chicken thighs. And it was only £1.90 for a whole kilo of those, which I'm going to be using 4. This meal's going to serve 2, so I'm going to use 4 of these, so 2 chicken thighs each, but obviously you can multiply it for however many you need. I've got some fresh mint from the garden, so those are the 2 fresh ingredients. The store cupboard bits, so I've got a jar of char-grilled peppers, which are stored in oil. I've got a tin of broad beans, so that's what I said about the lima beans. I usually use fresh or frozen broad beans, but they didn't have any frozen in the supermarket, so I'm going to use tinned. I've got some garlic granules here, which I'm going to, very strong, I'm just going to use a little bit of that, just 1/4 teaspoon of that. This is the Chipotle paste I was telling you about. So it's like a really smoky, chili sort of paste, basically. If you don't like, it is a little bit spicy. If you don't like it spicy, you could use sun-dried tomato paste, for instance, for a really nice flavour, but it's that smoky flavour that I'm really going for today. I've got bottled lemon juice. It's so much, obviously long shelf life, but it's so much cheaper to get bottled lemon juice. It's lovely. You'll use a little bit of oil, salt and pepper as well, of course. We've got ground cumin, so dried cumin, tin of sweet corn, and we've got natural yoghurt, which, as I've said, I consider a long shelf life product because mostly it lasts in the fridge for 3 or 4 weeks, but obviously check the sell-by date before you buy it. So those are all the ingredients you'll need. So here I've got 100 grams of the yoghurt with half the jar, which is 45 grams, half the jar of the smoked chipotle paste. I'm going to add a tablespoon of oil to that, tablespoon of oil. I'm going to add, and that's going to stop the chicken from sticking too much. I'm going to add a tablespoon of lemon juice. I'm sort of doing it a little bit by eye, but I've got quite good with that over the years. Yeah, about a tablespoon of lemon juice. That's a really nice flavour. I'm going to add a 1/4 teaspoon. So when you're dealing with garlic powder or granules, it's very, very strong, so you don't need to add too much. I'm just going to add a 1/4 teaspoon, which is actually, it doesn't sound like a lot, but it's quite a lot. 1/4 teaspoon of garlic granules, garlic powder. 1 teaspoon of ground cumin. Yep. A little bit of salt. And a little bit of pepper. And then I'm just going to basically mix that up until it becomes all smooth and all the ingredients are nicely mixed together. So once it's nicely mixed, you can add your 4 chicken thighs. I generally say, you know, two chicken thighs per person. You can use chicken breasts if you want. So yeah, put those thighs in there and then with your hands, really get those chicken in with those flavours, I'm going to get rid of the spoon. Get that chicken really into all those flavours, all that marinade, okay? So once that's all nicely coated, I'm going to cling film that and put that in the fridge and marinate it for at least 15 minutes. It can marinate from anything from 15 minutes to 48 hours. A good one to do is to do this and then marinate it overnight, and then it's ready and flavoursome to barbecue the next day. So you'll want to get your griddle pan or your barbecue nice and hot before you add your chicken. And I'm going to add my chicken using some tongs because it makes it easier. So I'm not doing that one-handed. So if you can hear that, you do want to get a nice sizzle when you add your chicken thighs. So you can use chicken thighs, you can use chicken breast, you can use chicken drumsticks. There we go, that's perfect size for my 4 thighs anyway. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to griddle that for 2 or 3 minutes each side, just to get a bit of colour on them. Once they're coloured, I'm going to put them in the oven. Preheat your oven, if you're using an oven, not barbecuing, preheat your oven to 180 degrees. So as you can see, these chicken thighs have had 3 minutes each side, and you can see the lovely bar colour marks on them. I'm now going to transfer them. So they'll still be raw in the middle, of course, but I've coloured the outside. So 3 minutes on both sides, transferring to an oven dish. And these, my oven is set at 180. These are going to go in the oven for 25 minutes. So now onto the salad. This is just the easiest salad ever, it's brilliant. So I've just drained the sweet corn, and your sweet corn goes in there. And your broad beans go in there as well. I've just drained and rinsed them from the liquid they were in, so there go your broad beans. And I'm then going to add, I've got my mint as well. It's probably about 2 tablespoons worth fresh that I've chopped up finely, lovely. And then I'm going to add this jar of peppers. Now, I'm going to add this whole jar of peppers with the oil in it as well, and that's the oil's going to act as sort of the dressing, because it's crazy how when people get these things in oil or in vinegar that they throw away the oil or vinegar, but there's so much flavour. That oil has been with those peppers and marinating nicely for ages, so don't waste that flavour. So that whole jar is going to go in, and that oil is going to be your dressing essentially. So that gets whacked in, and that was only £1 from Aldi, that jar of peppers as well. So, and look how colourful that is. So I'm just going to I'm going to put a little bit of pepper. I will check seasoning as well. A little bit of pepper and a little bit of salt. And then I'm just going to mix that up really nicely. And this is what, when you're making a salad, especially, summery spring food, you need to think, use, God, throwing it everywhere. Use lots of different colours and think about different textures as well. When it comes to vegetables, if you're eating the rainbow, if you're eating lots of colours, it means that there's lots of different vitamins and minerals in there, and you're getting all the nutrition out of it. So I've got that there, mix that up really nicely. I'm just going to check it for seasoning. See, look how easy that was. That took about 5 minutes, didn't it? If that, took like 1 minute. I'm just going to check the seasoning on that. Yep, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. So that salad's ready for when your chicken comes out. Done. Ready for plating. So I'm just going to get a nice few spoonfuls. Probably get a bigger serving spoon really, but you make do with what you've got. Get a few nice, really big spoonfuls of the salad, making sure you got a nice amount of colour. And my students will know again when plating, try and generate a bit of height as well with what you're plating. I think that's about half. Bear in mind, I'm plating half because it will be 3. I'll get a cloth in a minute to tidy that up. And when you take the chicken out the oven, or you've finished barbecuing it, you need to make sure it's cooked all the way through. So the way you can do that is, if you've got a temperature probe, you can probe the chicken in the middle, and as long as it's 75°C and above, it should be cooked all the way through. If you don't have a temperature probe, because I don't have a temperature probe, just put a little knife into the chicken and just check that the juices run clear, because you don't want to have any semi-raw chicken. You can have rare beef, you can have rare lamb, but rare chicken is going to make you ill, so be careful about that. So you got your salad, and you can see that dressing pooling onto the plate as well. I'm going to put That's that really beautiful flavoursome oil I was telling you about. Like that. Just going to get a cloth maybe to tidy it up a little bit. And oh, there we go. Yeah, that looks nice. Yeah, so there we go. So Chipotle grilled chicken with saffron succotash.